Welcome to the Bad Idea Society. This is episode number 2, and we are brought to you by some beautiful faces live on your TV screens. I'm Hooser. Together with
the Bald Moose.
There we go.
And this is Jesse from DC. Yo.
Yes.
Yo.
Yes. Happy you guys joined us today. Happy you guys are on here. Man, Bad Idea is taking big. Comic Pro right now. What are you guys' takes of everything so far? Jesse, what's your take on it right now?
Well, they are throwing everybody for a loop. They said it was going to be 20 stores, but oh my God, they're breaking their own rules. Sounds like a bad idea to me. It's going to be 50. And guess what? That makes sense. You know, there's been a lot of buzz going. People are on the fence. They're not on the fence anymore. They're jumping on board. I'm excited to see what it is. But wait a minute. There's a lot more than 50 stores across America, correct? So what percentage of American stores is that?
Yeah, that's the huge thing, man. That's what's got it. You know, I'm going back to, bad press is good press because as long as it's press. So
yep, exactly.
I think scaring the shit out of people thinking they might not get the book is paying off for them. What about you, Chris?
Well, is it a marketing ploy? Yeah, it could be. But were they sincere in the idea that it could start at 20? I think they were prepared to do 20. I think they said, okay, that's a reasonable source. We're going to start at 20. And then when they put up 20, they didn't realize they were going to have the kind of following that they have right now. They didn't realize it was going to get that big. So everybody wanted their store to go to Comics Pro and be part of the 20. And I think it's just the response. I think maybe it was a marketing ploy to say, hey, let's see if we can get more than 20. But I think they honestly thought in their heads, 20 is going to be okay. If that's where we start at, we're going to be fine. We've got a great stable. The stories are going to be magnificent. But I think fans just like, damn it, I want to be part of that 20. I don't want to be left out. I don't want to be struggling trying to find my copy, which, honestly, if we were to kick back to that, ain't nobody going to have no troubles finding their copies.
Well, let me jump in on you, man. All right, let's think about this for a second. Mm-hmm. All right, how many comics, one title, does an average LCS order? Is it like a 50? Is it 100? I mean, can they sell 100? I mean, so if we're talking about 50 stores, let's say 50 stores order 100 copies apiece. Well, that's 5,000 copies, right?
Yeah.
So that's like, not a massive print run. So no matter what, you're still looking at, Livewire level sales. And that's okay because, they're not, trying to, go all full Marvel on us here. And they want to maintain quality and maintain control of that. I'm down with it. But understand 5,000 copies nationwide, 50 stores, and a hungry hippo fan base. I'd be interested to see how this plays out.
Well, see, don't forget that it may start with 50, and there may be, like you said, 5,000 out there. But as stores get added on, there will be a small selection of those number one. So let's say second wave happens right before the number one kicks off. So we've guesstimated 5,000 being out there, and there's 25 more stores, with each getting 100 or however many they think they can sell. Good number is 100. So, that's another 2,500. Now we're up to 7,500, that's not bad for a company that's never published before.
Not bad at all. And most comics sell diminishing. It's lower and lower and lower as they go. So you're talking about you start off at 10,000, and then by the time you get to the second issue, you're at 5,000, and by the time you're at the third issue, you're at 4,500, and it keeps dropping like that. So if they actually boost up, that's that in itself is a success that is not commonly seen in comics. You don't see that. It doesn't matter how good the quality is typically. So when you see that, that's completely attributed to their marketing plan and strategy. Now, that's assuming, of course, they even order 100 per comic shop. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know how they're going to play it. But I'm interested to see how it goes, and I'll be tracking the numbers. I tell you this, if you don't get on board and grab a number one issue here, you are a flippin' idiot. All right? You are, God, dog, man.
And think about that value. Think about that value of number 3 and 4 and 5 because they're not going to be collected, right? They're not going to be digital. So you got to get the physical copy right now. So even 3, 4, and 5, if the print number goes down, those are going to be the ones worth more money than the ones maybe.
Here's the thing, though. I think with their plan as they're bringing more stores on, one, everybody's going to go after that number one, absolutely. Could there be actual diminishing sales? I don't know. Because of just what you said, Hooser, everybody's going to think, and so they're going to sign up for the entire run. Give me all 4 issues. Which, whatever store, however they do it, however they can get it, they want all 4 of those books. So I don't see a diminishing sale. Or if it is, it's not going to be like you said, DBS. I think it's going to be relatively steady. And if, let's just say, total sales is 10,000, right? Could we see by issue 4 total sales being 9,000? I don't think. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to find 1,000 people that would want to drop it, but because there's just that much hype around it.
Well, no trade waiting.
Exactly.
So look at it this way. Look at it this way too. All right. I don't think that the investors in this publisher are starving for money. All right, they can play it by their rules. They can do their game. They're on top of the world right now. They're calling the shots. They've got it. All right, and I'm excited to see how this goes because I don't think it's going to follow the normal comic book approach. Yeah. I don't think that there's a whole bunch of guys that'll swoop up and grab one issue and then die off and go and look at another shiny object. I mean, there'll be a few of those guys, but right. I really think that they're going to try to build a heavy-duty fan base. And as we found out with Imperium, there's only like 4,900 real fans out there, so 5,000 is a good place to start.
Right.
All right.
Well, and you don't have Diamond taking a cut of that too.
Yeah.
So there's your other piece. Diamond's not in there, so they're going to make more profit. I mean, they're giving a good discount. I think I was seeing like a 60% discount to the stores, which is a pretty darn markdown value for them.
That's free shipping too.
Yep.
So go running through any Comicon and talk to any comic shop and just see how many great things they have to say about Diamond, right? We've been talking about this for 20, 30 years. Yeah. It's time. All right, they're doing something different, and this is a test. It has the potential to shake up the industry, to be honest with you. And why the hell not,
I mean, you just look at the little impact that TKO did with theirs, right? And they've done pretty well. They're doing their digital. They're selling out of their own store, but they're also they're cutting over that, and it's just launching it all. It's a different market, different idea, and I think people are receptive to it if the quality of the book's there, if you got the creators there. I mean, Lemire's Sentient in recent TKO, Garth Ennis's Sarah, Joshua Dysart's Goodnight Paradise TKO. Those are, from what they've said, have sold really well in a different market than Diamond, and I think people are appreciating that.
Yeah, because you'll get those direct sales right off the gun with somebody like TKO. And then you will get those eventual back orders from the local comic shops that'll put a couple on the shelf, be it in a trade, however. And you're right, it's direct sales. And in the end, it means more money for that local comic shop. It means more money for the company. And that, to me, means that the company can go out and get better talent because then they can offer them more money. And that, to me, for the same price, sign me up all day, all week long, all month long.
Now, something that we got to watch out for, and I know they said that this is going to be limited to one customer, one issue per customer, per shop. Yeah, good luck with that, man. Have you been into a comic shop recently? It's not exactly like the military police there. These guys are going to be, I'm going to go in there with like 6 kids, and everybody's going to buy one. We're walking out with 6 copies. I mean, I can see it now. And there are going to be your crazy eBay flippers out there. Right. They're not going away. There's going to be a special freaking place in hell for these guys. And I'm telling you, it's a cute idea, and I hope it works out, but I don't think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be very difficult to enforce, and I don't necessarily believe that the comic book crowd is necessarily the most rule-abiding, law-abiding group of people available to enforce such a policy. So we'll see. It definitely gets hype up there. It definitely gets people thinking. But I feel like I'll be able to snag up 5 issues my first week.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it may not be that hard. And I can understand why people would. We'll just see.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to track? Is the email address? So you give them a different email address, and you can get another one. Different employees at every store. That you got what? some comic books have 6 employees regularly, who's working part-time, don't really care. You come in wanting to buy a book. Yeah, so I think it is going to be very difficult to enforce. The 3-year-old and 6-year-old, they're really looking forward to these books, so I know I'll at least have 3. So that's the things that's going to be great, is there's going to be some, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm just excited for the books, to be honest, to the creative teams, the creators, and good stories. What we got recently, since the last time we talked, they talked about ENIAC, Matt Kent and Doug Braithwaite, and that freaking Louis LaRosa cover, which is beautiful, but that's the only cover we're getting. What do you guys think about no variants?
I love it.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I guess it takes it old school in the fact that, there's one book. You fall in love with that one book. You care more about the story and what's inside the book than you do what's on the outside, which, don't get me wrong, I like variants. They're fun, they're cool, but I don't need them. And if this is supposed to be harkened back to just about the stories, that's what I want. That's what I want. If that's what they're selling, I'm buying.
Think about it, all right? When it was like 1 variant or 2 variants, that was cool. When it was every now and again, there'd be a gold book or there'd be something else popping out. I liked it, oh wow, he got the no UPC variant. How neat, But when Valiant released Ninjak with like 27 variants or whatnot, and I was like, oh my god, I'm probably not going to get them all because I can't possibly be this motivated, And it does kind of kill it at a certain point. And it also, I've run into this because I do a lot of the speculation, and I do a lot of the selling and buying and whatnot, and I see people saying, hey, I just want to buy the 1 in 50. Hey, I want to just buy the highest ratio variant. That's all I care about. And then the quality artwork that goes into the lower variants, it's kind of left to the long boxes at times, and that's the wrong place to be. When you make it, I do the bad idea route where it's really one cover. That's the iconic cover. That's the one you remember. That's the one everybody's after because it's the only one. Now, if something comes out like a Comics Pro edition or something, yeah, good on. I'll get in line too. Mm-hmm. But I really would be frustrated to see 10, 11, 12, 15 variants or something. I dare you to go try to collect Unity. Go, do it. Get all the covers. Good luck with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. And you know what? LaRosa. LaRosa's on the covers. The 2 that we've seen so far, right? Megalith LaRosa, and then we have ENIAC LaRosa. And it's getting away from that just, what do you want to call it? The pinup. Just the profile picture. That's just basic. These are actually telling part of the story so far, what we see, which I love that. We haven't had that lately with most of us are Valiant fans. We haven't seen that recently. And but you're getting one of the best cover artists doing it too, so that's great. But the artists make it, and it's sticking to the stories. And then this looks like, Dinesh with Hivemind and Hunter with Hivemind. Look like it might be a little mining opportunity for more IPs for them to maybe make into different sources. So, especially this.
That's a possibility. Yeah. I do see the possibility in that, and we'll have to see what happens after these 4 minis. What transpires after that. And just, pure speculation, I would agree with you, Hooser, that if this is going to be a superhero universe, then I can see this as being mining potential as, from birth to the highest levels of success.
100% that's going to happen. Whenever you go up to somebody and say, hey, I heard you're running for president, what do they say? Oh, no, I haven't made any decisions. They don't want to give it away, all right? And that's standard stuff. Now, it sounds too contrived, which is not really a word, to say, hey, we built this company for that purpose. But make no mistake, there's a conflict of interest there. Right? You have on one hand, a publisher where you're producing amazing content, presumably, and it's also by the same guys that have an IP company for working with Hollywood to make big action flicks. It's a marriage made in heaven. It's gonna happen. We can dance around with words all day long, but at the end of the day, is 5 to 10 years from now, we're gonna see Hivemind in bed with bad ideas, push forward to make TV and film projects. And I'm 100,000% okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I am too. absolutely okay with it.
Yeah, I like my media in multiple forms, right? I don't just read comic books. I love my comic books, and I love the stories. And you know what? It makes my viewing pleasures more enjoyable when I have an extra buy-in in another direction. Comic books bring it out that way. And then just looking at the team, you got one of the best scriptwriters who's set to be on there with Hooser, who's another one of the writers. That's he'll be in one of the few books that come out in the near future. And sign me up for anything that guy writes.
They only picked winners, man. They only picked winners. I mean,
absolutely.
You look at it, Dinesh, he was running the company for a long time. He had an opportunity to work with a lot of people, kind of make some friendships along the way, learn what, where the real talent was, learn who he could count on. And when the time came for the DMG punt, he knew who was going to help him build his empire. And that's what we're seeing right now. And also having reviewed, and you guys have been doing it a long way, alongside the whole time, having reviewed hundreds of these comics, these writers, these artists are the ones that were making the best stuff with Valiant, Argue that point. It can't, there's no way. I mean, LaRosa, Lemire, Kent, Hooser, these were the ones that were making people really talk. And now they're all amassed in another location, ready to go and do magic again. The stuff looks fantastic. It will be fantastic. Get on board before everybody else gets on board, because lightning's going to strike twice.
Yeah, and they've even got new talent that are very reputable. Marguerite Bennett. I mean, she's killing it in Animosity again and again. Yes. They're going to bring in new good talent, too, or new from Valiant over, just because of reputation. And it's not even going to be the same all the time, too, but they're going to be that quality A-listers every time. I really feel like that's going to be the direction that they run in. And it works. So, and then, I mean, just specifically ENIAC, just this concept of this story it's pretty fascinating. This kind of what-if story that's going into it. So, I'm ready for buy-in. I like the concept. I like the ideas. And, I just hear this story, and it sounds like it's a plot to a movie already. So, that's why I say that initially. And, yeah, I mean, I think just looking at the quality, I don't think there's any doubt that we're going to have solid quality. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to kind of piggyback on what DBS was saying, I think, Hooser, I was talking to you a little bit about this some time ago when this was first genning up. And the idea that Hooser is in there with Kent, Dysart, and all these other fantastic writers, and how in years past, when they all worked for Valiant, they would all have retreats, and they would all have brainstorming sessions and try to get the best stories on the page. Mm-hmm. Well, I see that happening here with this company, but more importantly, I see Hooser saying, hey, this is a great story, but if we tweak it into a script, maybe we can move these parts here and do this, this, and this, and your comic book becomes your script, which becomes the movie, which, and it also gets them in that. I mean, we've got some talented writers. They've got tons and tons of experience, but coming from the perspective where he's at, where Hooser writes a lot of scripts, I could totally see him saying little interjections here, there, and there to get them to the level of a script in a comic book.
And that's one of my fears. My fear is that's going to happen, and we're going to get Lemire writing movies and writing TV shows and stepping away from his comic books when he's doing amazing comic books everywhere he goes. Black Hammer's, beyond amazing. That's kind of my fear, is that they are going to be so good, they're going to move in that direction, and it's going to pull them away from this medium that we love so much. But if they have it in that right touch and it's the right kind of mix, I'm for good stories however we get them.
But how many times, you got to think about it too, has Hollywood tried to make a movie based on comic book IP, and people are like, oh man, it doesn't look like the comic, that's not from the comic, no, that's not who they were, they freak out about it,
Yeah.
We're going to avoid all that.
Yep.
They've already got the vision in mind. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but Mad Max Fury Road. Mm-hmm. If you go and look at Mad Max Fury Road, like Google, making of or whatever, that was basically made in comic book form. They basically did it panel by panel in the production studio, and so when they put it out there, I mean, it's not like they have a comic book for it or anything, but I mean, they built one in house, And that's why every scene was iconic like that. That's why everything was, flowed that way. And that's why it won Best Freaking Picture. And it was awesome, and they're going to make more of it. Tell me, did you guys like it? Of course you did. I loved it. It was amazing. All right, and that's the same kind of platform we're looking at here. They're doing it right in front of our eyes, and just strap on, boys. It's time to ride this rocket.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But and they're over at Comixpo right now. These are images are courtesy of Dinesh's Twitter. They signed up their first South Carolina, I believe, was their first store, and they saved 50 stores. So I was throwing out a crazy, I was throwing out my own theory, my own idea. 50. They're gonna do one in every state. I don't know. They're showing Alaska. They're showing Hawaii on this map that they produced. Maybe they're just gonna, get one in each state. I don't know.
It's kind of like the discussion that we had earlier. I see where you're going with that, but I couldn't see California just having one comic book store.
I don't disagree with that statement either, though.
Yeah, and Texas is just too big, too big. And then you got small like Rhode Island, which could be condensed into I don't know all the comic book stores, but there are some big ones out there that can service a very, very large area.
Yeah.
But it's exciting that we got our first puzzle piece. Those guys right there that we see up there, I'm hoping that everybody saw the Utah guys. I love those guys.
Nerd Store, dude. Those guys are awesome. Yep.
Yeah. I have no doubt that we'll be seeing them. At least I'm hoping, because they've got a great store up there in Utah.
Yeah.
So, and I imagine there are tons of people there. They're great comic book store. So I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to see where all the shops start to pan out.
Yeah, I kind of hope that Canada gets a shop or two too. That's always been the thing. Not being Canadian myself, but I've got a couple buddies up that way, and they're in the comic book game pretty deep. It'd be nice to have that opportunity. I'm sure it'll get to that point though.
It'll get there. I agree, and you're right. It very much could be one of the top 50 that they go. I mean, who was it? I saw a conversation, and I have no doubt that they're at least talking to them. They're trying to figure out how they can involve Canada, but more importantly, I think they try and find a way to involve everybody in the world, because there's a lot of people. I mean, Britain. I know people in Australia that are salivating for this. There's a lot of people everywhere that want a piece of this.
I'll tell you a little trick here. Something that I may have mentioned before. I don't know. So when I was managing the Valiant Instagram page for a while, it would tell me pretty much where people were viewing from a lot of times. I'd be able to look at the the different data and whatnot, and you'd be shocked. I mean, I had a lot of New York traffic and whatnot. I had a lot of Latin America, like literally a lot of Brazil, a lot of Mexico City, just a lot of traffic coming from Latin America, more than I would have expected otherwise. And I think that's something that cannot be ignored.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's absolutely a big need for that. And then you just look at the where's the place that's doing the Bliss comics, like the quality that's coming out in foreign language everywhere. Yeah, there's going to be a huge need for it, and more than just the English language, period, all the way around. So I mean, I'm sure France is going to want to be in that, and you're going to want to get the Comic Hub of Brussels involved in this stuff too. It's going to be a big need, a big desire, but they're not playing by diamond rules. They can launch it here on that and keep pushing it out the way they do. Just because it comes out right now and it's not there doesn't mean it won't be, right? So.
Right.
And then what I was trying to pull up another image here, and I was pulling up the names too. Some of the names that we saw also on this: Peter Milligan, Adam Polina, Rob Venditti, Zeb Wells, Louis LaRosa, Eric Kaiser, Thomas Giarello, May Cat, Marguerite Bennett, so Jody Houser. And I know they showed that image of like the tickets and the different ticket stubs that they were going to kind of announce. So we may be hearing about 3 more books coming down, maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, just kind of sleuthing with another Bad Idea fan. We know that Ken Braithwaite are on one, but we've kind of guessed, as you look at that ticket stub that you were talking about, the author has the last name of what appears to be RT, with the artist being LO. So we went Dysart and Giarello as the artists for the book that ends in YE, which we, again, gets to be Odin's Eye, which we've kind of gotten that far as well. And then book 3, you can see the artist with SA, which would be La Rosa, and book 4 looks to be Polina.
Yeah, and we know that La Rosa set out that he's going to be working with Kent. That has been said on Twitter, and Warren confirmed that too. So that is Megalith more than likely. So it looks like ENIAC, Odin's Eye, Megalith. Then we have another DT and a NA for the artist, like you said, Polina. So are we getting, Kent again, Dysart again, Bennett? I don't know. Like I see another T at the end there. So there's going to be a lot coming. So
I'll tell you what I'd like to see, and you guys tell me if you agree or not. Cafu. I would love to see Cafu work on a title with these guys.
Oh, yeah. Everything's eventual. I think we'll see him.
God, that would be great. I mean, his stuff on Life and Death, like from start to finish was amazing.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, Miko. Definitely want to see Miko. Miko's art's been phenomenal. Always for that. And then I also liked, you go back to Hooser and what he did with Raul Allen, Patricia Martin in Secret Weapons. I'm okay for that team getting back together any day.
Yeah, that's a winning team. They haven't really done anything wrong yet, that group.
Yeah.
Well, in just the way that Hooser set up that book and how it read, it was just a story that I think for every fan really kind of latched on to Hooser and just kind of fell in love with his writing style, which fell in love with the art. I mean, that book, I think, to me, was very, very special. Mm-hmm. There was something about it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's too much there. So I think the talent pool is going to be endless on what can happen with this, especially when it works out in the direction they're taking it, and the ability to have the business, the hive mind business that's available, the talent that's there, art story-wise, and the following that's already there. There's such a good base of a fan base there that they're going to be able to do things that they weren't able to do in 2012 necessarily. The Valiant fans were there, but they weren't. I don't think there was as big of a core as there is now for these guys. And they've proven it, and they deserve it because of their history. So I think that's kind of, there's a lot of people are interested in these stories. And then just hoping that we get the stores. I'm pretty sure DC is going to have something. I would be surprised if us here in the Northwest don't have something in Seattle or Portland or both. I know we got Eric on the chat. He's in Minnesota. I hope St. Paul or Minneapolis get something too. But with 50 stores, there's a decent shot that they may be planning it out in a way where there's a little bit everywhere. So
and I'm kind of curious just to double back a little bit. Something I read today is that they had an open enrollment today. With today only being Friday, and it's still another day and a half, I think, left over there at Comics Pro. I wonder if they're going to continue that open enrollment, because I imagine there's going to be a few shops that are like, ooh, I don't know if I can get into that. They go back, they crunch the numbers, they do their thing, and they say, you know what? Yes, I want in this. I want to be one of the stores. So I'm kind of curious, is 50 going to be the final number out of Comics Pro?
There's no rule that says it has to be. And they wouldn't follow it if there was.
I mean, we could see 75, couldn't we?
Easily could. What you do is you play down the numbers at the beginning, because if it's low, it's low, great. You're still doing a good comic and you're pushing forward. But then it increases. Oh, snap, well, I guess we're going to do 50 instead of 20. You want your book to be a success. You want it to be in the hands of readers, because otherwise, what's the point? And so if it gets to 75 shops, if it gets to 100 shops, all the better, because now you're really pushing your brand out there and you're entertaining the masses, which is the whole point of comics in the first place.
And then we have a March 6th release, or not March, excuse me, May 6th release. Still plenty of time out. After you get done with Comics Pro, seeing all these stores starting to light up and the hype really starting to turn up, we should see a pretty healthy second wave too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we're also looking at we're going to be seeing the Bad Idea crew out here at Emerald City Comicon here in 3 weeks now, and so we'll be getting the first panel there. I'm sure there'll be more talked about there, and that would be one thing ongoing that I'm interested in what their con present is. Are they really going to get a booth? I doubt it, but are they going to have stuff present at booths at Comic-Cons? That would be kind of cool if they had stores that have big presence at cons and they would sell their books there into that matter of distribution as well.
Well, what has me curious is on the Emerald City Comic-Con webpage, when you go to the Bad Idea first panel, they do allude to a special guest. They don't allude, I should say they allude to a special guest. So we know that Matt Kent will be there. Beyond that, though, as far as any of the first 4 books, we just don't know. So I'm kind of excited about it. I won't even lie. I'm kind of excited. Who's this rabbit? What's the rabbit that they're going to pull out of their hat? How much fun are they? How far are they going to go with this? How crazy are they going to get with this? Because that's true hype. I mean, that's a lot of hype. If you just get crazy and pull a buffalo out of a hat instead of a rabbit, I mean,
yeah,
that's a lot of excitement, a lot of hype.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what they come up with, and with the marketing team of Hunter and Josh Johns and Dinesh just being Dinesh, I think we're going to get some curveballs, and there might be a few bad ideas along the way. Hence the name of the band, right? So, so that's the interesting part that we're going to get. Every time.
Well, I'm on board. I'm on board for the ride, man. And if over the last 8 to 10 years, I mean, all the creators that have really made the magic happen, they're all here. How many times have you said, I want another Miko book, I want another La Rosa book, I'd like to hear, I'd like to see something else. All these conversations we have on Facebook or on the forums or in various chat groups, boom. It's fans listening to fans, and creators are the fans. I mean, so we've got a good mix here, and I'm very excited for this. I can't even say that enough.
Yeah, I think there's not much more to be said with that, because it is pumped up. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking about it, right? And just knowing the trust that we got in it, and knowing what's around the corner with these creators, I think we all have I think our main thing is making sure we get the books and how that distribution is going to come out, and what's going to happen on those books. Are you going to be able to get your 1, or you maybe get 2? I don't know. So
I get to say, I got to point this out because I'm sure everybody that's watching has seen this, but it's the first that I saw it, where Aaron Nagy says maybe it'll be Van Hook as one of the writers for Bad Idea. That would be something. Yeah, that would be that curveball that I wouldn't see coming. That would be something very, very interesting.
It's probably Jim Shooter.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that ain't.
You just see that one happen. That would cause some ruckus.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
But
I'll tell you what. So where are we on the connected universe thing? There was a lot of discussion about that, and people were like, "Oh, I don't think it'll be," or the other people were like, "Oh, of course it'll be." From my perspective, unless announced otherwise, and I'm just talking on my ass, I have to think. Why would you not do that? Because that allows you creative options down the road. It makes sense that's exactly what they'll do. They may not do it right off the bat. It may take a little bit of time to blend it all together and then show the connectivity. But I'm saying there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't start that right from the ground up. Because should the time come for you to release film and media projects and television and video games and whatnot, that allows you the opportunity to blend all the characters together as you see fit, and then and it gives you more creative opportunities from there. Also, if something works very well, but doesn't but work, you can take a character and move them over here and put them on somewhere else, like sliding Captain America in and Avengers 4, or adding Spider-Man to the Fantastic Four, or whatever the case may be. That gives you that opportunity. So if anybody was going to ask that question, I think that the answer would be yes.
So looking at the 3 of 4 books that we have, let's try and find a way to tie this together. ENIAC, which we have an idea of what that book's going to be about. Odin's Eye, and Megalith.
Yeah.
3 of the 4 books so far. That's a tough one. But I can kind of see it, because if you're talking about fictional gods and the power of the gods, or even if you're talking about Odin or somebody possessing actually Odin's Eye that he lost to the Raven for knowledge, I could see something like that happen. Megalith, we've seen some art from Megalith. That's an interesting concept, but and they have the master plan, they know, but I still see it being really tough bringing it all together. But if there's a way, how exciting is that?
Yeah, with Warren being an editor, I think there's a way where it could tie in and do it subtly and nice, and then be able, like Jesse said, to get it in there to make these bigger stories bigger down the way. I think that's one of the creative things that are great with the team, and like, yeah, I trust where that's going to go, and it does. It seems pretty strange to think about the 3 that we do have and how they could tie in, but and I would, my first instinct is to say, no, I don't think so at all. These don't really make sense very much. But I've seen Stranger, and I'm sure there's a way they can do it. So,
well, with everything that we've already said, with Hive Mind, movie potential, and if it's going to be a comic book and you want to bring it all together for the biggest bang for its buck, we can see how there's got to be a way. We just don't see that way yet. But then again, we haven't seen any of the way of Bad Idea so far, so I guess that's what makes it exciting and fun.
Yeah. Well, I think we beat the dead horse a little bit today, and I think we all know we're excited for it. Distribution's going to be distribution. Sounds like we're all in agreement with the no variants, that we like what we're getting. Creative team's awesome. So, yeah. You guys got more to add to this wonderful discussion?
I'm just looking. Oh, you guys' thoughts on the map when they just threw the map up with the webpage. Are we going to get more pieces, or are we going to stick with the 50?
We're going to see more pieces as we go. My first instinct when they threw it up there on, minute 1 was, oh, well, I guess the whole country's getting it. And then I realized it was going to be a piece-by-piece kind of building process.
And does it totally make sense, even from one of the interviews that Dinesh had, where he said South Carolina is one of the biggest supporters of Valiant, that they get number 1. They get first dibs. And, I mean, I don't know if they're going to go by that methodology of their best support, but if there were huge supporters of Valiant for the crew back in 2012 coming out of South Carolina, then it only makes sense that they're number 1 off the board. I see California falling here really, really quick. Mm-hmm. I could see New York happening. And then from there, I'm not certain.
So think about it. I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way that Collector's Paradise is getting left out.
Right.
They're going to be up in there. You might as well mark that on your map right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Number 2. That's got to be the number 2 state.
I've already reached out to Ed. Like, how do I order if I don't get it here? And he's ready to do it. So yeah,
gonna happen.
There's no doubt. And then you look at I look at a lot of the stores that supported a lot with Valiant doing the variant store variants, right? Luckily, one of the big ones out in here in Seattle was Comics Dungeon. They did quite a bit. They were one of the big guys behind the whole Cats cosplay thing that happened.
Yes.
So they really pushed a lot for things like that. Nerd Store, we got them guys in Utah that have done it. Selfish, those guys have done a number of books. There's a number of them that have created there and created that relationship with Adam, you know what I mean? Adam Freeman, who's your salesman. He called all of the freaking stores in the country before Valiant launched. He's got some rapport with some great people, and they're going to support it with that. So, and any store owner that doesn't want to really, really get behind it with knowing a Kent, Lemire, Dysart, knowing those creators are behind it, and knowing that it's limited the way it's going to be, you're going to want to jump on it. So, yeah, but you guys are right. California's probably next up. There's no way you can't have comics, Collector's Paradise not in there. So.
But you got India there too.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, and part of the family.
It's true.
I can see him getting a shot at it too.
Midtown. Midtown. I mean, you're talking like the heart of Manhattan. Yeah, I get a lot of books from Midtown. I really do. I mean, they every time I order from them online, the books come up in near mint condition. I mean, they kind of quickly packaged well. They have a lot of they can push a lot of books. I mean, there's a huge. We're talking about 7+ million people running around that area. But I don't know. I mean, if they're not going to be sold online, is Midtown going to be interested? Yeah, maybe not. They're a block or two away from Old Valiant headquarters. They did a lot of work together. Dinesh knows him.
Right.
Andy knows him. It'd be hard to imagine that they wouldn't be in there. I mean, if you're going to go one place in New York, it would be Midtown, right?
Well, your thing with Midtown, though, do they have the ability to put that much storefront, that much signage, that the little specs that are wanted for them to show? I mean, because
I don't know. I mean, you're absolutely right. They might not. I mean, they have enough for that giant Wonder Woman statue I can't stop staring at.
I've been to that store, and it is, their appearance from the outside is massive. So if you're looking for signage, if you're looking for some form of advertisement, I can see them putting something on the outside windows so that the mad populace that walks by there is going to see their image.
That's awesome.
From that inside, it's a decent sized store. It's got good. I think they've got 2 or 3 different rooms. So you've got a place to put stuff. I think it's just got to be creative on their part.
Yeah, I think the one that I heard that's not going to be is DCBS. So I think that's one of the few stores that I actually heard is most likely a no, which would be interesting.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that goes against their business model in the first place.
Right. Right.
But that's okay, because here's what I know about comic book collectors. All right, they will find a way.
They will find a way.
True story. People are all like, "Oh man, I wonder if I'm going to be able to get a copy." Bro, I have seen amazing backflipping off of train feats of strength to get a book. Like, there won't be a problem. There will be somebody, there will be somebody that will have your back.
Yeah.
Make no mistake.
So Jesse, did you order the originals of these covers already? Do you own that art already?
I do not. So here's what's up. I'll be frank. I usually am the first in line. I have this little thing where I would, if I wait for the solicits to come out, I'll never get the damn art. So I go direct with the artist well in advance, and do my best to keep it on the down low, because I don't want to get them in trouble, and that has happened, by the way. And then you do, but there's been sometimes you have guys. I guarantee you these #1 covers, Dinesh already owns it, or Warren already owns it. And there's no way in hell Dinesh is going to call me up and tell me, "Hey man, I hear it's available," because he knows he'll snag it up before he does, and he's not going to like let that happen. So right now I'm just putting money into my Chevelle in my house.
Nice. Nice. Smart move, but yeah, very, very good fact. Dinesh probably already has that up on his wall somewhere, or in the back of a closet that he's just keeping along because he has so much. But yeah, good point. But maybe seeing some of those guys, getting to them now, knowing who some of them may be, and then good old Sonic Dan may have something along the way somewhere, right? So.
Yeah, he represents La Rosa, so I mean, like. I don't know how much business they're doing these days, because La Rosa's, he's all over the place, and he's not for a while, then he's all over the place again. But Dan has that Pope to God connection with him, so.
Yeah. Score. Yeah, well, we got a bunch of people. I mean, we got some people online that are in here talking it up, so I want to thank everybody jumping on. Aaron's in there, Eric's in here, Scott Bloom, Sean Hayes. And I think Scott Hayes is, I wonder if I'll be able to get one at cover price. I think that's the big thing. So I think if we're getting it on eBay, I kind of doubt you'll get it at cover price. But, I know Dinesh has pretty much said you will be able to read it if you want to. There's going to be ways that it's out there. Whether that's piracy or not, but I feel like getting rid of digital kind of helps limit that. And I hope you do get it at cover price if you're ready to read it and do it the right way, and you're not just going for it to speculate and hold on and But don't get me wrong, I'm gonna want one of these graded and slabbed myself. So.
Well, I'll tell you all about what's going to happen with that. And again, tell me if I'm wrong. All right. Modern comics, people want that stuff in 9.8 or they don't want it.
Right.
So if you're willing to have a book with a ding in it, just so you can enjoy it and read it and love it and hug it and twist it, man, you're going to get it. Trust me that. You'll get it for cover price. I guarantee you can find that. If you want to have, your cake and eat it too, though, if you're going to throw that little fit, and you're going to be like, oh, I want a near mint copy with no flaws, but I'm not going to grade it, but I want to read it, but I don't really read it. I mean, I'm going to put it in a box. Yeah, good luck, man. You ain't getting the thing for cover price.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot tougher. But much like you said, where there's a will, there's a way. You want it, it happens.
Yep. And 40 pages of goodness with that cover price, too. So it's actually a fantastic of a deal on all parts, right? Cutting out Diamond makes some wonders. And, free shipping, everything, hopefully to a store near you. And I hope they update that map really soon. And, what is it called? Where'sbadidea.com?
Yeah, where'sbadidea.com.
I'll tell you what, one thing I'm very excited about is that Diamond is not playing games here with this thing. They're not involved at all, which is great, because those guys could not package for nothing, man. I mean, imagine getting stuff like, right on the shelf that already looks like it's been through a wood chipper. Good Lord, man.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I talked to my LCS when Fallen World was coming out. I wanted to collect every cover, so I had them buy every cover. And it's like, I don't know, like some animal was trying to pack it or something. Hoof marks in it. Like they were playing cards and slamming it against the wall. I don't know what they were doing. But they'd send them back, and they would come back with different beaten up, tore up marks on.
Yeah, I remember, what was it? It was Ninja K when that came out. Number 1, I believe it was their 1 in 10s. Like, everywhere just got, like, damaged copies. I remember Comics Dungeon where we're at, and I think you got the medal from that store. Like, they had to send back every single their 1 in 10s that run, because everything from Diamond was just garbage.
Jacked. Yep.
Yeah. No, from a collector standpoint, I mean, if you're just, even if you don't read the books, if you're just a collector and you're a weirdo that just collects stuff you don't read for some reason, which I've never met somebody like that, then this is great, because you're reducing the amount of possibility for books being bent in half. On the other hand, if you're a guy that like I would say we are, which collects what they like, reads what they like, maybe has 1 or 2 copies, and also makes it available for other people, and there's an aftermarket and all that, then I have to suspect that Bad Idea is going to come up with a better, more loving and caring way to package and ship stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Well, book collectors, so yeah, they're going to want to safeguard it, protect it in some way, shape, or form that will keep it minty fresh.
And they're going to know exactly who's putting it in the box. And they're going to know the supplies that are going to it, that are protecting them. Because it is going to be sent to 50 boxes are being sent out in May. So I'm sure they know that one guy who's packing all 50 boxes and how that's being done. And you mess one of those up, you know what I mean? That's you already kind of screwed the pooch there if you messed up one of them. So I think they're going to be a lot of quality control that's done with that. So... And knowing Dinesh and how much he wants things to be right, I heard stories about how he would tell people, let's work on it a little bit longer to make sure it's right. Let's work on it just a little longer. I think that we're going to, even just the shipping alone right there is going to be the right deal. And we're not going to have to worry about those.
And Eric brings up a good point here, too. He goes, the books will be stronger paper stock. That is correct. They're going to go like what they did with Divinity. Remember Divinity, where it had that thick, like almost like damn near plastic, like milk jug quality, paper stock.
Yeah,
we're so beautiful too.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It grades really well, but God, man, don't dig that stuff. You're never getting that. Pressers beware. You're not unpressing those defects.
No.
Right.
But they hold up really well. They grade really well. They allow you, if you really wanted to, and I've actually done this. I've read a copy of Divinity, and then I've closed it, and then I've sent it in for grading, and it still came back with a 9.8. So that's exactly, if there's ever a way to develop a comic book that can do both, that was it. You don't have to just sit there with latex gloves and and a monocle like a snob and be like, hey, well, that touched this book because it may not get a good grade. I mean, you could actually enjoy it and then grade it, and then you can tell all the haters what. I read and grade, bro.
Read it like this. Get your nose in the book and try and read the far corners.
Got to get your headlamp on too, because the shadows.
Yeah.
So, but great point. And I think we all, that's one thing we missed when we had Valiant was those paper stocks when they got those moved away. Extra stories, the bigger paper stock, things that we enjoy, and those books just feel good in your hand, and there's something about that. So yeah, that's a good call. But and then again, Comicon coming around the corner, Chris. You ready for it?
I'm excited. Yeah. Very, very excited. I have one of my hunted, I guess you could say, something that I've been hunting for the last 2 years. Finally got it. I'll be taking it to con. I'll be taking it to the con. Special book.
Yeah.
I've got 80 books on the way to CGC right now. You guys are going to be blown away. I'm talking, man. I've got name a very difficult to find Imperium variant. It's on its way to CGC right now. Pretty much the entire Ladakh print run is on its way. A couple extras, and I'll be honest. I own 10 copies of everything, and I went through with you guys. I'll make a video for you one day where I show you me actually pre-grading my own stuff before I send it out. It's ridiculous. It's totally OCD. Anyway, not everything had a good. Not everything was a good candidate. There's some stuff that just had those minute little breaks in the cover that you just wouldn't catch unless you really dug in deep. So, but there's gonna be a lot coming. A lot of duplicates and whatnot, and I'm gonna kind of feed the hungry. So, be ready.
That's awesome. So. Yeah, I should be having a couple boxes on the way that I'm going to be getting at Emerald City Comicon at CGC, and just praying that the grading gods are nice to me. So, but yeah, if we have 86 though, every night praying for that. So, yeah.
I may have 8 or 6. That'll be going to CGC.
Well, the good thing is, I'm going to say this about bad ideas while we're talking here too. One of the hardest things about collecting comics from a publisher that you love is collecting everything from a publisher that you love, and then keeping up on it. I don't know about you guys, but I have a real job. I manage a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of stuff, and sometimes I don't even have enough time to take a break, right? And then and the last thing I want to do is go and read 25 titles somewhere and be like, yeah, man, something has to give, because it does. I'm a flipping grown up, and that's what grown ups do, right? But the idea here is, one, I'm not going to have to buy 20 variants just to thank God, and I got all 20 variants for issue number 7. It's not going to cost me $300 to do it. I'll be able to get my book. I'll be able to enjoy my book. I'll be able to collect my book, or books if there's 2 or 3, but that's manageable. I think that's manageable for most people. And, for those people that say, I can't pay $3.99 for a comic, you probably shouldn't, bro. You should probably be getting another job or something, man, because $3.99 ain't that much. I'm just saying, this is going to be enjoyable because, you'll be able to firmly wrap your fingers around the entire publisher. You'll be able to, keep abreast of all the happenings in the Bad Idea universe, which there's something to be said about that. Right.
And another reason why number 2, 3, and 4, the sales might not go down like what we've typically been seeing as far as history shows. So that can be the case. So many reasons that you're going to have these be consistent sales without the variants, without the trade collections, and without the digital. So I think when you look at it in that point, it's getting back to what comics are in the medium the way it was originated. To be written in a comic book on a single issue, on a floppy, hard card stock copy, but that's still kind of the general idea. So,
like Akon's, I said, man, still counts.
Yep.
So, I'm saying here right now, you're absolutely correct. It is exactly what comic books were supposed to be. It's the magic that we're talking about is what comics are supposed to have. I'm probably in about well over 100 different comic book related groups. I've heard all the debates, all the arguments about things, and how far we have strayed from the Lord's teachings. And I'm going to tell you right now that they are addressing all of those things. So if you're on board with it, great. This is for you. And if you're not on board, man, I don't know what the heck you were complaining about. Because they've addressed all the things that people have been moaning about for years. Yeah. So it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you may not like it, but like you said, get on board, get off board. But you know what you're going to be getting. You're going to be getting with these guys. So you're going to be getting some quality.
All right.
All right. Well, that was a good discussion, guys. I appreciate it. I'm thinking with the way it's looking is we're going to keep getting guys in here, doing it, rotating it up. And about every 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a Bad Idea Society podcast. So keep in touch as we get more and more news. I think that gets us to a Friday before Emerald City Comicon and a Friday after Emerald City Comicon. So we'll be able to speculate a little bit more and be able to give some details about what came out then. So I think that's kind of a good pacing right now with the way these books are going to come out. And then when books come out, we'll go from there. But yeah, all you guys, thanks for jumping on. And people viewing, thanks for jumping on. But Jesse, thanks for jumping on over here at Hoodoo TV, man.
Anytime, man. Just give me the buzz. Put up the DBS signal.
That's it. And then Moose, as always, buddy.
Always. Thanks a lot, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome, everybody. You guys all. You can't stay valiant now. So what do you do? Like, don't
stay
make
with bad ideas.
Yeah, just have a bad idea. Just don't make sure it's too bad to get arrested. So, see you guys.